Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. I'm Gary Edwards, the Vice Chair, and Hutch is off taking care of other legitimate business. Ty?
Ty Menser from District 3, Commissioner.
Lavanita Beaumont, clerk of the board.
Go ahead.
Got it. Romero Chavez, County Manager.
Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager. Elizabeth Petrich, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney.
Okay, at the 2 o'clock meeting, we're calling to order. And the first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner Menser.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would entertain a motion for the agenda.
I move to approve the July 9th, 2019 agenda.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I would entertain a motion for the minutes from June 25th.
Move to approve board meeting minutes from June 25th, 2019.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're to the opportunity for the public to address the board. And we've got 4 people signed up. And that should get this done in about 15 minutes. Mr. John Pettit, would you come forward, please? You're the first on the list. And try not to get out of control up here, if you would. Labanita's got a 3-minute clock over there, but if you're right in the middle of it, we're going to get to the bottom of it as best we can. Okay, go ahead. You're on.
Very well put. Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you today. I have a few different things I just want to mention. One very brief note is if by chance the process of the meeting, the set forth of presentations and such were to change slightly, county manager can make his comments from the previous meetings prior to the comments by the public. So that way the public doesn't have to be responsive in a later tone to questions that have been addressed. In other words, it expedites the person making comments to put the record straight on what they feel. Okay, one of the reasons why I'm here today is I wanted to deal with a particular element. I want to bring forth a couple pieces of information. One of the things is, of course, I'm still opposed to any building of new courthouse, but I wanted to bring forth to the commission a particular element. I don't know if you're aware, but under the RCWs, you have certain legislative authorities. Your number one provision in that says, provide for the erection and repairing of courthouses, jails, and other necessary public buildings for the use of the county. Number one objective, provide for repairing of courthouses. Okay, now here's where we're going to start into a topic, because I was rather vocal and complaining some about the funding and everything that's been gone on for repairing this courthouse. Well, I don't know if you're really aware, because you guys come in and out and get elected at different times, but on the website you would find it. There's an access to a report that was made in 2016 called the Meng Analysis for the county. Based upon the Meng Analysis, a 6-year plan, starting in 17, you would have been needing to spend an additional $23,631,000 to bring the courthouse up to the appropriate condition. Well, we're 3 years into a plan, and which, by the way, that plan would show that you're about $4 million a year as a base that you would be needing to spend, and you haven't even come close. In fact, for the vast majority of your time. You haven't even spent half that much towards just maintaining the facility. A new facility will still cost you probably at least $5 million a year to maintain, and it sounds like on the website, somebody thinks it's all going to be for free. Sorry, you got to maintain the building from day one. So I gave you an alternative A, and what I'm going to tell you this is that I prefer that we work with alternative A, because alternative B means that people find that the commissioners
Go ahead.
have basically, under their provision and their responsibility, have failed, and that means that they will have violated their oath of office to perform the duties that are listed, and that could subject people to a recall election, maybe even one in April of 2020. Same type of timing if the new courthouse issue continues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Terry Ballard. I'm a 35-year veteran, Army veteran, and retired on active duty in 2012. 2012 is important today to me because I thought I was all set to retire and I'd have these commissioners taking care of me. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case. My continued concern of trust is with the city manager, making sure that he gives you the correct information so you can make an informed decision. Well, that hasn't been done. He might be the subject matter expert, and to some as God, but again, God does not know all. Cover again today is the stormwater related to Tangowild. The nitrates are very neat. They deal with septic, fertilizer, and animal waste. Documents from the county prove no pollution to Woodland Creek or water wells Tangowild drinks from. My property is still paying for septic when they should have been removed in 2012 from the Henderson Protection Area. Apparently, your God or subject matter expert thinks that it is too much trouble for citizens to fight the system, but your subject matter expert is wrong. You as commissioners are failing to represent the people, but still have your subject matter expert. You're responsible for him, he's responsible for staff, and you can't pass the buck. If he gives you the bad information, that's your problem, not mine as a citizen. I'm here to get support out of you, not out of him, because I don't belong to him and I don't push him. Okay. As far as the Lacey quagmire, Lacey came in 2017, and Lacey said that I have to follow their ordinances, okay, for my septic tank. And if it fails, I have to hook up to their city sewer. That's kind of funny because I don't follow Lacey ordinances, and the fireworks is a good example of that, okay? But, of course, you failed to represent me, and you were sitting in the cheap seats in the bleachers. This stormwater problem is going to be a real big problem because it's your problem. And kind of like the brewery just dumped a bunch of oil into the Tumwater stormwater system. Guess who was responsible to make sure that that didn't happen? That was Tumwater. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard, and thank you for your service. Next is Diane Sontag.
Hello. Thank you for hearing me today. I'm here about an issue that you probably all saw in the papers yesterday about
Could you introduce yourself for the record?
Could we
and
get
the
your name?
address?
ma'am?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Correct.
thought you said my name.
I did.
Diane Sontag, and I am from Olympia.
Thank you.
I'm not from South County.
Thank you.
And I'm assuming you saw the article in the paper yesterday about what's brewing again between the Port of Tacoma and, I'll say, the people of South Thurston. We had, a number of years ago, 2,000 of us citizens down there voted did a petition and actually voted to downzone all the properties in that area. And we were hoping at that time that would be the end of it. And obviously, it's not the end of it. And I wanted to tell you that one of the things that the Friends of Rocky Prairie, our citizens group down there, one of the things that we got the last time we did this is we got an award from Audubon for educating the public. And I'm feeling like there seems to be a disconnect, that there is some education that needs to be done here. I don't think that the county is trying to do something that is intentionally going to hurt us, but I'm afraid that this move that you're contemplating in the rezone would constitute a real ill will towards the citizens of South County. And I'm just looking at this. So I just want to read a little bit to you about Elwood, Illinois. They're a small town, probably like Maytown, and they allowed this warehousing to come in there. And it's interesting to hear this. It says it's hard to find anyone who will admit it now, but when North Point Intermodal Freight Terminal opened in 2002, people in Elwood were excited. The plan was for shipping. And I'm just going to jump to this real quick. It took 2 years to basically annihilate the infrastructure in these little towns. And the tax dollars were from the citizens to try and improve these roads. They had trucks all over the place. They tore up the roads. And I feel like this, I have quite a bit of information here that I'm going to leave with you. I feel like it's really important that you hear this part of it.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Well, that was perfect. I could stop right here. So I'm really hoping that as an act of good faith to your constituents in this county, that you also look at what happened to other small communities that allowed these huge intermodal centers into their cities and counties. So,
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Would you please leave that paperwork with the county manager?
yes, I will.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's one for all.
Okay, I will get it.
Appreciate it.
He makes sure we get our mail. Amy Stottlemyre? Okay, I got lucky.
My name's Amy Stottlemyre.
Could you tell us that in the mic, Amy,
My name's
please?
Amy Stottlemyre. I'm
Thank
a
you.
citizen of Olympia. I, too, am against Rocky Prairie. I could go on about all the environmental reasons why I'm against it. It is an 845-acre piece of property. It is adjacent to a railroad that is of little use currently, although BSNF, which I may be confusing the acronym there, seems to be involved, and I bet there's going to be billions of dollars spent to improve that railroad to connect to the Port of Tacoma. Of course, I don't know this for sure because we do not have honest plans coming from North Point about what is going to happen. We have very loosey-goosey, maybe this, maybe that. I suspect you may know more than I do. What I am afraid of is that this railroad line will connect right next to the park. It will destroy the park. The park brings in 500,000 tourists into our county who spend money. People won't want to go to a park that's next to an intermodal facility. For those of you that don't know what an intermodal facility, that is where you have a train line that takes the cargo from the Port of Tacoma and unloads it onto trucks. We don't know the exact truck number, but it could be as many as 4,000 trucks a day. That will destroy Maytown exit, 93rd, Tilley Road. Taxpayers are going to be the ones who are paying for those road infrastructure. You can bet North Point will not pay for that. I believe that they are fudging the numbers of how many jobs they're bringing in. Also, if you look at the Elwood study, they bring in temporary workers. These are not full-time workers. I do not think the county will make money off of this deal. I think it's going to hurt taxpayers, destroy property values, ruin area wells, perhaps pollute our aquifer. I do not think that this is going to be a good thing for our county. Of course, I don't have all the information because North Point, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, does not want to release that. They want to sneak it in, have you change the zoning so they can make the area industrial, put in approximately 2.9 to 4 million square feet of warehouse. We know they'll keep adding, just like Hawks Prairie. And by the way, these trucks are not going to stay in South County. They're going to be going to Hawks Prairie. They're going to destroy the roads around Hawks Prairie. This is going to add thousands of trucks a day on I-5, also destroying our roads. So again, I could go on about the 6 endangered species. I could go on about park attendance, but this is not going to be good for anyone in the county. Since the 4th of July, we have gathered over 200 signatures just in 5 days, including a holiday in there, of residents who do not want to see this happen again. This area is sandwiched in between the park and
Go ahead and
Washington
go ahead and
Department
finish
of
up.
Fish and Wildlife. It is an animal thoroughfare. Again, who cares about the animals? I know some people say, but I care about my tax dollars and animals. I really hope you do the right thing for future generations and you don't let a big corporation sway you with potential jobs that are likely to be changed to automation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amy. Okay, is there anybody in the audience that didn't get a chance to sign up that would like to have a say? Anybody out there? Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, how about county manager's update? And we might talk about that at a future date about how this is all presented. So go ahead, sir.
I just have a couple of updates for you, commissioners. As a matter of background, the Department of Ecology every year goes through the process of assessing the operations of over 300 wastewater treatment plants statewide. And depending on their assessment of the operations of the wastewater treatment plants, they award certain levels of performance. So out of the 300, 109 received the wastewater treatment plant outstanding performance. Out of the 109, we have received 3 related to the county. One is for the Ground Mount wastewater treatment plant. The other one is the Boston Harbor wastewater treatment plant. And the third is the Thomashan wastewater treatment plant. And I have to give kudos to the Public Works Department because that staff is the one who takes care of all those facilities on a daily basis. And this is not an easy task. Out of 109 out of 300, that's a great achievement. So congratulations to Public Works in that regard.
I would like to echo that. Thank you very much to the Public Works folks.
The next letter is we receive another letter from the Department of Ecology, and this is related to the Western Washington Phase 2 Municipal Stormwater Permit. And I believe you had a briefing this morning related to this permit. So we received a issuance that we are clear with our new permit, which takes effect August 1st, 2019, and that will carry us through 2020. So in how this comes to be the permit itself, federal and state water quality law requires a permit for the discharge of stormwater. That will be under the Federal Water Pollution Control Act, Title 22 of the United States Code, Section 1251. The State Water Pollution Control Act, RCW 9048, and the Washington Wastewater Discharge General Permit Regulation, Washington State Administrative Code 173-226-130. The permit addresses the legal requirements and control the discharge of pollutants to protect the surface water and groundwater quality in Washington State. The permit requires municipalities and secondary permittees to develop and implement a stormwater management program to control stormwater runoff into and from their municipal separate stormwater systems. So the result of that is we have a program, and we have a stormwater program that meets the requirements both of the federal level and the state level, and that is the reason why we have received the new permit that will let us conduct the business of water quality and water quantity for the next year. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're going to move into consent items.
I'll make a motion to accept consent items A through H.
Second. Any other discussion on that?
Nope.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner, you
Aye.
need to second that motion?
He did.
He did,
I
I'm sorry,
seconded it.
I missed that.
Okay, so the motion passes. How about item number 4, Public Health and Social Services? And maybe Jennifer is going to come up and fill us in on what's going on here? Are you going to brief us on that, or is Jennifer?
Jennifer's going to come and present that issue for you.
Okay. Jennifer and whomever she designates, I guess.
Good morning, or good afternoon, Commissioners. Jennifer Popchak Hakeem from Thurston County Developmental Disabilities. And is this the contract?
This is the approval of the
right.
contract with the Disabilities Administration.
Okay. So I'm here today to request that you approve the program agreement between the Washington State Developmental Disabilities Administration, which is a part of DSHS, and Thurston County Developmental Disabilities Program. And this is a continuation of a contract that we receive yearly, and the amounts are adjusted according to the number of clients. This year, our contract equates to a little over $5.4 million. And what this allows us to do is to contract with service providers. We currently have 5 local service providers in the community that provide services such as individual supported employment, community inclusion, high school transition for individuals with developmental disabilities. So for the employment piece, individuals are assisted by job coaches in acquiring a job, and then coaches will work with them side by side as they gain independence and gradually pull back so the individual is able to retain this employment. And for community inclusion, allows folks to get out in the community and participate and become an integral part of the community that they live in. And for high school transition, high school students, we work with high school students and providers to ensure that upon graduation, those individuals will have jobs or be on the pathway to gaining employment, those that are interested. This contract also allows us to work with experts in the area regarding provider training.
Okay, that's it?
Yes, sir.
We got it? Any questions, sir?
I don't think so.
Just for the sake of the community being aware, we've had several briefings about this particular topic. Our latest one was this morning at 9 o'clock, so we've been through this and feel pretty comfortable about it, and that maybe is why we don't have questions, because the dollar amount is actually quite substantial. And I didn't want the public to think that we weren't paying attention, but we were. So I would entertain a motion, sir.
Okay. I move to approve county program agreement number 1963-57639 between Thurston County in the Washington State Department of Social and Health Services Developmental Disabilities Administration in the amount of $5,415,134 for the period of July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign this agreement and future amendments that do not change this approved dollar amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Commissioners.
And that motion passes. Item number 5, Community Planning and Economic Development.
Yeah, this item, Commissioners, is for you to consider authorizing the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development to sign a contract with the Washington State Department of Corrections for payments for services. And Shannon Shula, our social planner, will give you the background related to this item.
Hi,
Shannon,
good
thank you.
afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Shannon Shula. I'm an associate planner with Community Planning and Economic Development. Today, I am here to request the approval of a funding agreement with the Washington State Department of Corrections to provide professional services through December 31st, 2020 in the amount of $82,875. In addition, the contract would authorize the Director of CPED to sign any future amendments that extend the contract up to 1 year and does not revise the total dollar amount by more than 10%. This contract will review the request by the Department of Corrections for proposed changes to the Thurston County Zoning Ordinance Title 20 to allow prisons and pre-release facilities as a special use in planned industrial districts. The purpose of this agreement is to reimburse the county for the expenses accrued during the public process. This item implements the Strategic Initiative Number 6 to help strengthen and diversify an equitable economy for the county. It also applies to Chapter 6, Capital Facilities of the Comprehensive Plan, Goal 3, Policy 3, to ensure the county's development regulations do not preclude the siting of essential public facilities within Thurston County. Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, maybe just a quick question, and this has to do with the old juvenile facility in the Grand Mound area, is that right?
No,
Right,
this
Roger.
is directly related to the zoning ordinance, and it's to look at the language of the development code to allow the use of prisons and pre-release facilities in planned industrial districts as a special use. It is, yes, it does pertain to the Maple Lane, but it's looking at the language of the development code.
Yes, I just want to make sure that the public is aware that there's been a proposal brought forward by the Department of Corrections to revamp things and maybe change the use of Maple Lane. So in case the public is interested, they could follow this particular process, and it'll be ongoing for a period of time. So if you have concerns, just kind of follow along with what's going on here. The county site will keep things posted, and there will be additional hearings as time goes on. So any other comments, sir?
Just like to comment that the use, I mean, we're talking about, if I remember from our briefing, jails versus prisons, which, so the change, proposed change of use is, in a sense, very minor.
Yes, it's just,
there's a legal distinction between a jail and a prison, and we have restrictive language in our, in terms of the definition of this type of district.
yes.
So wouldn't want people to get the impression that this is more than it is. It's a,
Yeah, it's basically just allowing the specific term of, currently there's jails permitted as a special use within this district.
right.
It would just be allowing and adding prisons and pre-release facilities to those special uses.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, County Manager, do you have anything to add to that?
No, sir.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to authorize the Director of Community Planning and Economic Development to execute a payment of services contract with the Washington State Department of Corrections to provide professional services through December 31st, 2020 in the amount of $82,875, and to sign any future amendments that extend the contract up to 1 year and does not revise the total dollar amount by more than 10%.
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. I don't think anybody said nay. We're all saying aye.
Oh,
Right, thank you.
Thank you for the clarification.
I just thought I'd make your heart beat a little bit. Okay. And item number 6,
Yeah,
Central Services.
For your consideration, this item is to authorize the Central Services Director to extend the term for an on-call design and engineering services contract associated with building, repair, and construction projects. And Monica Gorman, Interim Central Services Director, will give you additional background.
Hi, Monica.
Good afternoon. My name is Monica Gorman, Interim Central Services Director. As the county manager said, we are here to ask authorization to extend the term of some existing on-call contracts that support design and engineering for central services, specifically for facilities as well as capital projects. These contracts originated as a result of May 18 authorization from the commissioners to allow central services to solicit a request for qualifications and negotiate and execute contracts for on-call consultants that provide design and engineering services. Contracts with 16 consultants were signed in July 2018, primarily, as I said, to support capital construction projects and facilities repair and maintenance. These contracts are set to expire at the end of this year in December. And so what we're asking and recommending is that these contracts be extended through the end of December 2021. That will allow us to maintain continuity of operations through transition and some other changes that are occurring. Consultant fees under these contracts, they will be paid by building reserves and capital project budgets.
Do you have anything?
No, go ahead.
I think I'd like to just point out to the public that what this does is this negates the necessity of the county of having professionals on staff that deal in very specific areas. And hence we end up saving money in the long run. Did I get that about right, sir?
That is correct, sir.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think it's right on point because the level of expertise that is required to address the needs of a facility, from the electrical to mechanical to anything associated with the building, it will be extremely expensive for the county to hire an individual that is an expert in each of those areas. And the on-call consultant process give us the flexibility and also easy access and rapid access when some of those needs arises in an emergency level. So, and your conclusion is correct, that the long run will save us time and money.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner, do you have anything?
Since you said May 2018 is when the current contracts started, Monica?
That was when we received authorization to issue a request for qualification. So the contracts were originally signed in July 2018.
Okay. And since that time, we've had need to utilize these services?
That's correct. We've issued approximately 30 different task orders under these contracts.
And been satisfied with the results?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I would entertain a motion, sir.
I'll move to authorize the Interim Central Services Director to extend the term for on-call design and engineering services contracts associated with building repair and construction projects through December 31st, 2021.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Okay, emergency services.
Commissioners, for your consideration is to approve a preventive maintenance contract with the Stryker Gurney and Power Load. And the Director of Emergency Services, Kurt Harding, is here to give you additional background.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kurt Hardin, Director of Thurston County Emergency Services. I'm here to request that the Board authorize the Emergency Services Director to enter into a 5-year maintenance and parts replacement contract with Stryker for a total cost of $177,745.66, and any amendments not to exceed 10%. In 2018, Medic One purchased 15 power lift gurneys for a total cost of just under $600,000, and the one-year warranty is expiring this summer. The preventive maintenance and parts contract for 5 years is designed to ensure these gurneys are in the EMS system functioning properly for the life of the equipment. This contract has received concurrence from the internal auditor, the prosecuting attorney's office, and follows the Thurston County procurement process. And the EMS Council recommended approval of this contract, and the funds come out of the Medic One Fund. Subject to your questions, I request the board authorize the director to execute the contract.
Any questions, sir?
What are the life of these machines? I mean, how long are they supposed to last?
We anticipate that it'll be about a 10-year lifespan. That's the lifespan of our medic units as well, our vehicles. But right now, since they're fairly new, they're being rolled out, and we'll find out as we get through the process. They're in the first year, and so it's hard to tell at this point. But we anticipate 10 years.
Okay.
And the EMS Council voted how to do on this?
They voted recommending to the Board of County Commissioners to approve this contract.
I'll move to authorize the professional maintenance and parts replacement contract with Stryker for a total cost of $177,745.66 for a 5-year period, and further authorize the Director of Emergency Services to sign the contract and any amendments not to exceed 10%.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. And here we are to the county manager. Item
Thank
8.
you. Thank you again, Commissioners. This items for your consideration is approval of the second amendment to the interlocal agreement between Thurston County and the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, also known as BHO. And Mark Friedman, the Executive Director of BHO, is present here, and I will ask him to come back to the podium and give you additional background on this amendment.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mark Friedman, Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, requesting approval by both Thurston, and then we will be approaching Mason County Commissioners as well, to approve the interlocal agreement between the two counties that formed the Behavioral Health Organization. The original interlocal, which was written September 2015, established the BHO and all the rules and bylaws regarding it. We now need to, this would be the second amendment, we need to amend the ILA for purposes of being in compliance with Senate Bill 5432 that was passed this year. That requires, one, BHOs go out of existence, and that administrative service organizations, ASOs, replace them, changing also the responsibility of moving management, Medicaid behavioral health services from the BHOs to managed care organizations through Healthcare Authority, but that the ASOs that we would convert over to would be responsible for continued delivery of crisis services not funded under Medicaid. The amendment also requests the identification and also establishing sort of the separation between the ASO and the licensed mental health agency that the BHO also is currently right now, which is called the Olympic Health and Recovery Services. So we have both these entities that need to coexist, but do so in separate format as required by the Senate Bill 5432. The ILA was reviewed by your civil prosecuting attorney, and we look forward just to be able to continue doing services for these crisis services that the community needs.
Sir, you're on the board for BHO. Do you have anything to add?
If the public's had trouble following exactly what this is about, don't feel bad. It's very difficult understanding the transition that we're going through, and but I'm satisfied that we're following the law and doing the right thing in terms of changing the agreement that we need to do between the two counties and the BHO. So support this ILA.
I guess there's one thing that bothers me about the whole thing is the state divesting itself from the responsibility, if you will, on mental health. And I think mental health is a bigger problem today than it was yesterday or the day before. I think it's going to continue, and I know the state is up against it with its mental health hospitals, and I just hate to see the local communities get a lot of unknown responsibilities brought down to them, and generally that comes with an unfunded mandate process. We seem to find that out after the fact. So although we're going to follow the law, we don't always have to agree that it's the best way to do business, I guess is just my point of view. So I would entertain a motion, sir.
I'll move to approve amendment number 2 to the interlocal agreement between Thurston County and the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization for behavioral health services.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very
Motion
much,
passes.
Commissioners.
Thank you, sir, for your hard work.
Thank you, Mark.
And now we're down here to sub B of 8, which is commissioners reporting back on work sessions. I'm not going to get carried away about that. We're going to be done here in a few minutes, and then we're going to reconvene at 3 o'clock for a public hearing. But Commissioner, do you have anything you'd like to bring to the public's attention?
Just quick tick through things that I've been working on that don't involve, the full board or any of my formal committee assignments. There'll be a Parks and Recreation Month, and there'll be a Thurston County Connections program on that I recorded a week or 2 ago, coming out on Friday. Attended the opioid task force meeting as we get into the hard work of implementing some of the directives that were in the plan that the board approved at the last Board of Health meeting. Working with our prosecuting attorney on some mental health directions that came out of state legislation from the last session. Attended some fair-related activities, the 4-H council meeting last night and the fair superintendent's meeting. The Thurston County Fair is coming right around the corner. I hope everybody will come out. Took a tour of the Family Education Support Services new offices in Tumwater and attended Innovative Justice meeting this morning. Among other things, meeting our new pretrial services employee that will be presented to the public next week.
And I'm just going to say most of my energy was spent on water quality issues this past week, and I defer to the county manager.
Thank you, Commissioners. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for the upcoming week. The appointments that are going to be mentioned in my report is where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars that will not be part of my report. Beginning at 3 in the afternoon, here in a few minutes, you will have a public hearing for you to consider increasing the fees, mandatory arbitration fees from $220 to $250, and that is in accordance to RCW 3618016. Moving on to tomorrow, Wednesday, July 10th, 11:15, you have the opportunity to welcome new employees to Thurston County. And at noon, you have your monthly luncheon with your appointed directors, and that is an opportunity for you to have a conversation with all the directors and hear from them as well. Nothing on your combined schedule on Thursday, July 11th. Nothing on your combined schedule on Friday, July 12th. Nothing on your combined schedule on Monday, July 15th. And then we'll reconvene on July 16th in the morning at 9 a.m. Where you'll be reviewing the agenda for that day of the Board of County Commissioners meeting. That's what I have for you.
Thank you, sir. We're right on schedule. If there's nothing else to come before this board at this point in time, I'm about to adjourn, but I'd entertain anything else that we need to discuss.
I'm good.
Okay, we are adjourned. We will come back into session at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.